Have you ever found yourself standing in the kitchen, looking at that jar of pickles or that little box of chocolate tucked in the cabinet, and suddenly, your mouth waters just a bit? You pause, thinking, do I really want this or do I need it? And then, maybe with a little smile, you say to yourself, heck, why not? If you're in your 70s or even beyond and still find yourself feeling cravings, whether it's for food, adventure, companionship, or just a second helping of your favorite dessert, let me tell you something that might surprise you. That's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of life. A lot of people think that once you cross a certain age, everything slows down. Your body slows, your mind dulls, your needs shrink. And with that, so should your desires. But that's simply not true. In fact, if you still feel cravings, whether physical, emotional, or even spiritual, it's not something to suppress. It's something to celebrate. You see, cravings are signals. And in the later chapters of life, they're proof that your internal compass is still spinning, still seeking, still alive. Whether it's a craving for something sweet, a desire to call up an old friend, or even just a sudden urge to walk outside and feel the evening breeze. Each of these moments is your body and soul whispering, I'm still here. I still want joy. And that, my friend, is a beautiful thing. In this video, we're going to explore why cravings in your 70s and beyond are actually a sign of health. Yes, real health. And how tuning into those little wants can unlock more energy, deeper happiness, and even a stronger sense of purpose in this incredible phase of life. Let's start with something we often overlook, appetite. Now, I'm not just talking about hunger. I'm talking about that gentle tug inside when you pass a bakery and smell warm bread, or the way your eyes light up when you see a favorite dish you haven't had in years. Appetite isn't just about food, it's about enthusiasm. And when you still feel that spark of appetite, it means your brain is alive and responsive. As we age, a lot of people begin to lose their appetite, and not just for food, but for life itself. They stop looking forward to meals, social outings, or trying something new. And you know what happens next? The body starts to believe it too. It slows digestion, it turns down the metabolism, it sends fewer pleasure signals through the brain. It's as if the lights are still on, but no one's really home anymore. So if you do still have an appetite, if you still wake up thinking about coffee or get excited over a potluck dinner, you're not just lucky, you're thriving. Your body hasn't given up on enjoying life, and neither should you. Let's take that even further. That craving for sweet things? It's not just about sugar. Sometimes, it's your brain asking for serotonin, that beautiful little chemical that boosts your mood. Sweet cravings, especially in the evening, are often a sign that your emotional world is still active. It's your heart saying, I want comfort. I want to feel good. And why shouldn't you? Instead of fighting those moments, what if you leaned into them with intention? Maybe it's a small square of dark chocolate with your tea. Maybe it's a soft muffin with cinnamon that reminds you of mornings gone by. These small pleasures aren't sins. They're signals. Signals that your emotional center is still engaged. You see, when cravings vanish entirely, when you no longer want or care or reach for anything, that's when we worry. That's when something might be off. Cravings, in moderation, are a sign that your body is communicating. It wants. It feels. It remembers joy. And here's something else to consider. Your sense of smell and taste. Did you know those senses begin to dull with age? That's why food might not taste as vibrant as it once did. But if you still find yourself craving flavor, still wanting a dash of lemon on your fish or a sprinkle of herbs on your soup, that's a good sign your sensory system is still sharp. It's saying, don't dull this life, spice it up. And speaking of spice, let's not forget the craving for connection. Yes, the craving to talk, to share, to be seen and heard. Some people may call it being needy or too talkative, but I call it being alive. If you still have the urge to call a friend or the desire to sit with your neighbor and tell stories, that craving for company is not something to push away. It's something to lean into. We are social creatures. Even in our 70s, 80s, 90s, we don't outgrow the need to connect. That's what makes us human. If you feel lonely sometimes, or crave a chat over coffee or a walk with someone who understands, that is not weakness. That is wisdom speaking. It knows that connection nourishes just as much as food ever could. And yet, how often do older folks shut down those urges? I don't want to be a burden. They're probably too busy. Maybe I'm just being silly. Let me say this. loud and clear, you are not a burden. You're a treasure chest of stories, lessons, laughter, and memories. And craving connection means your spirit still wants to share that treasure. So whether your craving is for peach cobbler, for the warmth of a good hug, or simply the feel of the sun on your face, listen to it. These are not distractions. They're direction. Let's not forget, life doesn't end at 70. In many ways, it begins to bloom in ways it never could before. You're freer. You're wiser. You've learned how to say no, and how to say yes to what truly matters. And when a craving shows up, whether small or grand, that's your body reminding you. There's still more to experience. There's still more to enjoy. You're not broken because you still want things. You're blessed. And you know, one of the most common cravings that often goes overlooked is the craving for movement. Not exercise in the way we often see it pushed in commercials or fitness programs. No, I'm talking about simple, natural movement. The kind that feels good. The craving to stretch when you wake up. To stroll out to the mailbox. To sway a little when a favorite song comes on the radio. If you're over 70 and still feel that itch to move your body, follow it. That's your muscles and joints saying, we're still here. We still want to be used. It's so easy to think, I should sit down. I'm too old for this. But movement, especially when it's driven by your own desire, not guilt, isn't just about staying fit. It's about staying free. Freedom isn't always about driving a car or traveling the world. Sometimes, freedom is being able to tie your own shoes, or open a stubborn jar, or bend down and pick up a grandchild without wincing. So when your body says, let's move, it's not nagging you. It's inviting you to keep that freedom alive. Even 5 minutes of walking, swaying, stretching, it all matters. There's something else cravings reveal that we don't talk about enough: your identity. When you want something, even something small, a particular kind of tea, a certain style of blouse, a show you never miss on Tuesdays, that want comes from you. Your preferences, your uniqueness. And that's something sacred, especially in a world that too often tries to flatten older folks into categories like elderly or retired. But you are still you, not just a grandmother, a veteran, a retired teacher, or a patient. You are a full, complex human being with a lifetime of likes and dislikes, passions and pet peeves. So when a craving arises, pay attention. It's a little flag waving from the part of you that says, hey, I'm still in here. I still know what I like. And when you honor that craving, when you let yourself choose the red scarf instead of the gray one, or you make that meal just the way you like it, it reminds you, and everyone around you, that aging doesn't erase identity. It reveals it. Now, let's talk about the emotional cravings that sometimes sneak in late at night, or on rainy days, or when the house is just a bit too quiet. The ones that whisper, I miss someone, or I wish I had more to do, or even, I don't feel as needed as I used to. These kinds of cravings aren't wrong. They're real, and they're honest. We live in a world that sometimes rushes past people once they reach a certain age. That's a hard truth. But you still have value, immense, radiant, irreplaceable value. That yearning to feel useful or connected isn't a flaw. It's a compass pointing toward purpose. Maybe you missed the days when people needed your help, your advice, your hands. But here's something most people forget. Just because you've lived a long life doesn't mean you've given all there is to give. There are people, young and old, who still need what you carry. Even if it's just a story from your past, a lesson you learned the hard way, or your calming presence when things get messy. So if you feel the craving to be needed again, don't push that aside. Lean into it. Call someone who might need encouragement. Offer to help with something small, even if it's just folding laundry with your daughter or reading to a neighbor's child. These aren't chores. These are threads that we've purposed back into daily life. Let me share something personal. A woman I met last year, her name was Ruth, told me that after her husband passed, she began craving noise. Not loud music or chaos, just sound. The clink of dishes, a voice in the room, a dog barking outside. She realized that what she was really craving was presence, companionship. And instead of shutting down, she joined a community choir, not because she was a great singer, but because she missed the feeling of being surrounded by people breathing the same rhythm, feeling the same joy. Cravings often come wrapped in disguise. What looks like a craving for noise is really a need for connection. What feels like a desire for sweets might be your heart saying, let me enjoy something. These are clues, not mistakes. And sometimes, the craving is for peace. That deep exhale, that warm moment when the phone is off, the chores are done, and the chair is just right. If you find yourself longing for stillness, that's a craving worth honoring too. It means your soul knows how to slow down and savor. That, in itself, is a kind of wisdom. Cravings don't always come with urgency. They're not always loud. Sometimes they come as a gentle tug, a quiet nudge, a faint whisper in the heart. But they're important. They remind you that you are still in tune with your inner world. That part of you that doesn't age the way bones do. That part that always stays young. So whether your craving is for something sweet, something warm, something soft, or something wild, listen, trust it. Because every craving carries a message. You're still curious. You're still passionate. You're still open to joy. And that means you're still very much alive. There's one more kind of craving that often goes unspoken, the craving to be seen. Not just looked at, not just nodded to as someone's elder, but really seen, understood, recognized for the life you've lived, the choices you've made, the laughter and tears you've carried. You know, as we get older, people start to treat us like we've become invisible. They don't mean to, but it happens. At the grocery store, at family gatherings, even in conversation, people talk around you, not to you. They assume you have nothing new to say, nothing exciting to want. And slowly, you start to question it too. Maybe I should stay quiet. Maybe I've had my time. But let me tell you something from the deepest place of truth. If you still have cravings, especially the craving to be seen, heard, touched, loved, or respected, it's because you are still here for a reason. The light in your eyes still burns. The story in your heart is not done being written. If you crave expression, paint something. If you crave adventure, try a new recipe. Visit a place nearby you've never explored. Talk to someone new. If you crave affection, say it. Ask for a hug. Let people know you're not done giving or receiving love. And if you don't know exactly what you crave anymore, if that fire feels quiet or hidden beneath the noise of daily aches and routines, just sit still for a moment. Breathe. Listen to yourself. Not the you from 10 years ago or 30 years ago, but the you sitting here today. Ask, what do I want more of in this season of my life? Maybe it's ease. Maybe it's joy. Maybe it's just a soft blanket and a hot cup of tea shared with someone who understands. The beauty is, you get to decide. Cravings are not just for the young. They are not signs of immaturity or greed. They are signals that your spirit still seeks fulfillment. And as long as you crave something, anything, you are still growing. Think about that. Growth doesn't stop with wrinkles or birthdays. It doesn't stop when your hair changes color or your knees start talking back to you. Growth just changes shape. It becomes quieter, wiser, more intentional. It becomes rooted in knowing what matters and letting go of what never did. So if you're 70 or 80 or even 90 and you still feel desire bubbling up now and then, be proud. That means your heart is not finished dancing. Your mind is not finished dreaming. Your body, even with its changes, still responds to beauty, to warmth, to sweetness, to life. And maybe your cravings look different now. Maybe they're not for climbing mountains or chasing goals. Maybe they're for peace, for deeper connection, for spiritual grounding, for moments that feel like home. That's not less than, it's more. It's rich, it's soulful. It's the kind of craving that comes from deep within and the kind that brings lasting joy. You've spent decades putting others first, raising families, building careers, caring, providing, surviving. You've been the helper, the rock, the anchor for so many. And now, if your cravings are turning inward, if they're asking, what do I need now? That's not selfish. That's sacred. Honor that. Celebrate that. Let yourself want things again. Small things, big things, silly things, beautiful things. Because that want, that spark, that's the flame of life still flickering inside you. And you are entitled to that flame. You have earned it. Every wrinkle, every laugh line, every scar on your heart, it's all proof that you've lived. And the fact that you still want more, that's not a problem. That's a gift. So next time a craving pops up, don't push it away. Smile. Recognize it as a sign from your body, your mind, your soul, saying, there's still more to do, more to feel, more to taste, more to love. And when someone tries to tell you, aren't you too old for that? Just laugh gently, because you and I both know the truth. You're not too old to crave. You're alive enough to still want. You're wise enough to know what matters. And you are strong enough to pursue joy, even now, especially now. So go ahead, indulge in that dessert. Dance a little in the kitchen. Call that old friend. Try something new. Love a little deeper. Smile a little wider. Because if you're still craving anything at all, it means your story is still unfolding. And that, my friend, is the best kind of luck there is. Now, if this video made you feel seen, if it reminded you of your own strength or your own quiet little cravings, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you still crave? What little joys still light you up? And if you found comfort or inspiration in these words, please give this video a like. It helps more people, just like you, find their way here. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more content that speaks to your journey, your heart, and your life. Because this channel is about honoring the second act of life, not as an ending, but as a new beginning. Here's to cravings. Here's to courage. And here's to living your best life at any age. You're not done yet. You're just getting started.